right? You see that that target was met almost exactly, right? Now, this smaller head and shoulders is what you usually see with inverse head and shoulders. The smaller head and shoulders becomes a larger head and shoulders. So I'm seeing a lot of people today, a lot of analysts are saying, oh, we have a W pattern. And this W pattern has a target to the upside of between 57 and 58K. I'm not seeing that. Two reasons. One, because I don't think this is a contiguous W pattern, okay? A W pattern typically has a little more consolidation, right, on the ends, okay? So I would expect a little more consolidation on the ends here for that to be a viable W pattern. And the middle is a bit too extended to the upside. Anyway, that's not as important as what I'm going to say now. Right now, I'm seeing that the clear pattern, if you want to do this using pattern analysis, and pattern analysis is extremely useful, especially for finding targets and then corroborating the targets from your pattern analysis with your Fibonacci levels. That is extremely powerful, just as we did a few moments earlier. Now, here, what I'm seeing is another inverse head and shoulders, right? And here's my inverse head and shoulders, right? This is the second head and shoulders I'm looking for. And this, I think, is more likely than this as a pattern to look out for. So this head and shoulders, this inverse head and shoulders, basically we'd have to form the right shoulder of it. And that's what I believe that we're doing right here. This is why I'm seeing us coming down a bit, okay? And the levels I just gave you were based off of a wave 4 retracement. So how do I get that? Basically, hello everyone. My name's Dean. Let's talk crypto. This is where you subscribe for daily Bitcoin updates and technical analysis. We track the price of Bitcoin as a proxy for the cryptocurrency markets at large. Today is March 1st, 2022, and Bitcoin is looking like it's in a small corrective sequence, okay? Small corrective sequence at the moment, but that it's looking for continuation to the upside. And I do expect a lot more continuation to the upside. So thank you for joining. Thank you for listening, watching, whatever you're doing. Like the video, share the video with others who you think may also appreciate sound technical analysis, right or wrong. It's always sound. And subscribe if you're not yet subscribed. We'd love to have you, and let's get into it. All right, here's why I think Bitcoin is going to correct just a bit, right, in the coming hours. No more than, here's what I'm seeing. I'm seeing Bitcoin correct no more than around 41.3, okay? $41,300, right? And that represents the 382 of this wave that we just put in. I'm seeing that this wave that we just put in is a completed third wave, okay? Wave 3 of an Elliott wave sequence, as most of you already know, is typically the most impulsive, typically the longest, okay? In this case, I do not think it's going to be the longest, and I'm going to tell you why in a moment, okay? So immediate short term, I'm expecting Bitcoin to come to between the 236 and the 382. 236 represents the minimum retracement of a fourth wave, okay? And that is at 42.5. 42.3 on this chart. 42.430, sorry. So I'm seeing a small correction, right? We're coming down to around here or here at the most, followed by continued impulse to the upside. Now, what am I seeing on the 4-hourly chart? As we said yesterday, when we were right here, we said this looks like a wave 2 correction, and after wave 2 comes wave 3. Wave 3 is typically the most impulsive. I'm expecting, a huge pump or a large move to the upside. We got that. We got 20% to the upside, right? That was a major move, one of which we haven't seen in about a year, okay? Now, I do believe that because Bitcoin is at crucial resistance right here. Do you see this? We have resistance here, we have resistance here. We are at resistance, right? And our wave 3 seems to have hit between the 1 and the 1, 2, 3, 6. We know that the minimal extension of a third wave in Elliott wave theory is the 1 Fibonacci extension, okay? Typically, you find the wave 3 to end between the 1618 and the 2, but here, I believe that this 1 to 1236 is our wave 3 extension. And I'm going to tell you why. If you look right here, we have an inverse head and shoulders. That breakout that we had yesterday, okay, 20%, is almost to the dollar the target of this inverse head and shoulders. Let's say this is the neckline right here-ish, and you superimpose that from the side of breakout. Well, sorry, side of breakout would be here, where the neckline is, right? You see that that target was met almost exactly, right? Now, this smaller head and shoulders is what you usually see with inverse head and shoulders. The smaller head and shoulders becomes a larger head and shoulders. So I'm seeing a lot of people today, a lot of analysts are saying, oh, we have a W pattern. And this W pattern has a target to the upside of between 57 and 58K. I'm not seeing that. Two reasons. One, because I don't think this is a contiguous W pattern, okay? A W pattern typically has a little more consolidation, right, on the ends, okay? So I would expect a little more consolidation on the ends here for that to be a viable W pattern. And the middle is a bit too extended to the upside. Anyway, that's, that's not as important as what I'm going to say now. Right now, I'm seeing that the clear pattern, if you want to do this using pattern analysis, and pattern analysis is extremely useful, especially for finding targets and then corroborating the targets from your pattern analysis with your Fibonacci levels. That is extremely powerful, just as we did a few moments earlier. Now, here, what I'm seeing is another inverse head and shoulders, right? And here's my inverse head and shoulders, right? This is the second head and shoulders I'm looking for. And this, I think, is more likely than this as a pattern to look out for. So this head and shoulders, this inverse head and shoulders, basically we'd have to form the right shoulder of it. And that's what I believe that we're doing right here. This is why I'm seeing us coming down a bit, okay? And the levels I just gave you were based off of a wave 4 retracement. So how do I get that? Basically, I take the Fibonacci retracement tool from the bottom of wave 2. If you're not clear, this is what I'm seeing. Wave 1, this was wave 2, this was wave 3, okay? So just so we're clear. So the bottom of wave 2 to the top of wave 3, right? And the top of wave 3 is actually here because I'm seeing this as this higher high as a B wave, okay? So I'm measuring from the bottom to the top, and I'm seeing that the 382, which is the maximal retracement of wave 4, is at 41.3. So that would mean we could come and do something like this. And that, ladies and gentlemen, looks very similar to what we did in the left shoulder. You have your symmetry. So that's how I think you get your new inverse head and shoulders pattern, right? You get your wave 4 retracement, right? And you get a new pattern to break out of. And even more interesting, the target, let's keep that on here. The target of this inverse head and shoulders would be the distance of the head, right, to the neckline, which would be around here, yeah. and superimpose from the site of breakout, which would be around here, say, and that gives you around 54, 55, okay? But let's say that the neckline is down here somewhere. That target is about 53.5, okay? It is within the realm of possibility, okay? And why do I say that? Because if we look at the larger picture, this downtrend, this 73-day downtrend is an impulse, okay? It's not to be ignored. Anybody who's telling you, oh, we're having positive price action to the upside, Bitcoin's just going to make a higher high, we're going to make, a new all-time high and go to the moon, 6 figures, is disrespecting this. Do not disrespect this downtrend. This downtrend is significant. It's impulsive. Whether you study Elliott wave theory or not, this is to be respected. And how? Basically, we know that in Elliott wave theory, any impulse to the downside comes, or to the upside, any impulse comes in 5 sets, right? 5 waves, right? So if this is indeed an impulse to the downside, this is wave 1 of 5, okay? And if it is indeed wave 1 of 5 and not standalone, as most waves tend to be, we would have to expect our wave 2 correction, which is what we're in right now, in my estimation, to come no higher than the 618 Fibonacci extension of this, 618 Fibonacci retracement of this move to the downside. I hope you follow. Now, can we get some wicking? Absolutely. So even if I were to reposition this target right here, that would basically mean that we'd get a wick too close to the 50% level of this band. And if you're subscribed to the channel, you'll know that in my studies, in my career, I've noticed an important fact in Fibonacci, in working with Fibonacci sequences and levels, that when price comes to 50% or below of the 50% level of a band, then it hasn't yet violated that band. It's still just a wick, okay? And so this move right here would just represent a wick within the 618 Fibonacci, level, okay? It wouldn't be a violation. This would constitute a wick. As I just said, the 50% level, and this is borrowed from W.D. Gann, okay? The 50% level is very significant. The 50% level represents what would you say? The 50% level represents the most important and representative level of taking over a certain level. I hope I'm not really articulating this well. I didn't get too much sleep, but I hope you understand my butchered English there. So that's why I think that this inverse head and shoulders is the more likely pattern to play out in our move to the upside, and that we will get a wave 5 that's extended beyond a regular wave 5 extension, which is just the 618 of wave 3, right? But our wave 3 just extended to between the 1 and the 1, 2, 3, 6, which then sets us up for an extended wave 5 because we got a relatively short wave 3. I hope that analysis makes sense, right? That's what I'm looking out for. That's what I think is most likely. I could be wrong, but that's how I'm going to trade until further notice, right? And further notice is basically more candles print. I have more information. I can derive, either I strengthen my initial analysis or I edit it, right? So that's what I'm seeing on the charts, and that's why I'm seeing it. If you appreciate this kind of analysis, right or wrong, but always sound, like the video, share the video with others who you also think may appreciate sound technical analysis, and subscribe to the channel. We'd love to have you. All right. And I will repeat this very important point. not to stress the obvious, those of you who are subscribed will know this, but if this indeed is a legitimate downtrend, which seems legitimate to me, right? And those of you saying, "Hey, Dean, I see what you're saying. Like, this is an impulse to the downside, but it looks really, really messy. I can't make heads or tails or count it." Yeah, we struggled with counting it when it was happening, right? And we even got caught in wave four. One of the reasons so many people struggled with counting this and sort of recognizing it as a legitimate impulse is because I think it's an ending diagonal of 33333. Keep that in mind, count it again, and you'll see it makes a lot more sense. It's an ending diagonal, but it's also a leading diagonal because it's both the end of this ABC structure right here, right? It's the end of this A, B, C structure and the beginning of what I think is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever. A big move to the downside. So I hope that all makes sense. It's not too kind of complicated, but that's my analysis. That's my large term analysis. True to form, and as promised, I have repeated the fact that once we get to this region, be very, very careful. If my analysis is correct, expect a strong move to the downside, making a lower low. 30K will seem like a high number to you. I promise you, the targets to the downside are below 10K. All right. So if I'm right, then be very careful. If I'm wrong, what's the worst that can happen? Just get back in the trend. But I would just say be very, very careful when price gets up to this point. I want to repeat it over and over in all of my videos on this last move up, what I perceive as this impulsive move up, so that even if you caught one of 10 videos, that you were made aware that this is my take on what's coming next, the next huge move for Bitcoin and the rest of the crypto market. So don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Also, don't forget that we do have the live stream today at 4 p.m. No, let's say 4:30 p.m. Okay. So join that if you're interested, and I'll see you guys then. Trade safe. Goodbye.